Hello and welcome everyone. Thank you very much for tuning in for our post-match reaction show. Liverpool going to Benfica and winning 3-1. A tremendous result for Liverpool in terms of it set us up really nicely. Great result. Would have been nice to keep the clean sheet, but we'll speak a bit about that later. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Hope you enjoyed the game last night, and obviously we've got two very good games on. Obviously Chelsea, Real Madrid, and the other one is completely gone out. Well, Bayern Munich versus Villarreal, and obviously City getting a very important 1-0 victory at the Etihad. I watched the highlights after the Liverpool game, and Christ, obviously we've played Atletico Madrid and absolutely slapped their backside this season. Wasn't as easy. So, obviously Manchester City didn't find it easy last night. I think all of us, regardless of what football team you support, we all hate watching Atletico Madrid. If we have to watch them, I couldn't sit through a 90 minutes and watch their bloody dross of football. Yes, it's effective, but whatever. Enough about Atletico Madrid. They're going to get knocked out by Man City anyway. But Tom, how you doing? John, absolute legends. Big up, Jack, mate. Hope you are well. And I'm going to be joined by Spider very soon anyway. Spider LFC. And, well, speak of the devil, absolute legends. How you doing, mate? You okay?
That's the crack, lads. You all right? All good. All good. What a result.
Yeah,
Away from home.
absolutely tremendous, mate. And if you need to shoot, mate, appreciate you coming on, mate.
No,
Just drop us a message anyway. Just tell us if you need to shoot off. But tremendous, mate. Absolutely phenomenal. We'll speak about obviously the goals and what it means for Liverpool in terms of obviously preparation a bit later as well. Chat, keep on getting your comments in. But Chad, most importantly, let me know your thoughts on the game. Who really stood out for you, everyone? We'll speak a bit about the two main men for me personally, Spider, in a little second, mate. Obviously, Naby Keita, who I've been very heavily critical of this season. I'll hold my hands up and say that. Not done it. I have blasted him a couple of times this season. But last night, sorry, he really stepped up. But Spider, absolutely bloody tremendous result as well. Would have been nice to have kept a clean sheet, but just quick overall thoughts on how happy you are with that result, and then obviously we'll dive into obviously the goals and obviously what happened throughout the game.
I think it's a good result away from home in a Champions League quarter-final. Just the onus of the game itself would have any, heavy depth on any team that's going to be playing in it, regardless of, whether it's the quality of us against the quality of them. But in saying that, we should have really polished them away, but I thought we were brilliant first half, and it was a tale of two halves, and we were fairly poor in the second half. But for me, Diaz and Keita did stand out quite. Diaz was kind of, he was held to ransom a bit in the first half. They were marking him out of it, marking Salah out of it. But for me, them two lads played phenomenal last night. I would have said Canada up these games as well, but he kept giving away fouls on the right hand side to Everton, and but it was unfortunate. It was his mistake. He should have really cleared it. So we kind of gifted him a goal in that sense and kind of gave him more confidence. But no, but besides that, it's an away win. We can be comfortable to say that we can take him at home, even with a weaker side next week. I would concentrate in City over the next 2 weeks, really, with the best squad that we have, and maybe set out a medium team with the lads sitting on the bench, maybe, next week is what I would do. But look, job done, 3-1 away from home. I'm happy.
Happy days, everyone. Spot on there, Spider. Hi-yo as well. And I won't be calling you Spectre, Spider. Sorry, lads. I only tweaked it until my dad went, you were calling Spider Spectre, I was like, obviously, during your live stream when you're pressing all the buttons, so cold. I was like, banging my head against the wall. I was like, you idiot.
So one of the lads in the chat was Spectre, wasn't he? So that's
absolute legends. Mike Green. Come on, City Sunsy, behave, Mike. Obviously, you won't be enjoying watching that game. Obviously, two of your biggest rivals going head-to-head for the potential another league title. But Spectre spot on there, mate. And obviously, we'll
he did it again.
Oh, Spider. That's my own fault now, Spider.
Fought them by proxy now.
Yeah, look at this stat, mate. And obviously, chat as well. Obviously, one of the biggest stats to come out of the game anyway. 8, obviously, up to Joe. We all love our stats. Liverpool have won 8 consecutive away matches in all competitions for the first time in our history as well. That's absolutely phenomenal, mate. Obviously, record breaking for Liverpool yet again, and hopefully, this is a sign of things to come.
Yeah, I think like if I think like before the international break, we were a bit wayward, as we know. We could see that some of the lads were a small bit leggy, and thank goodness some of them didn't go away for an international break. But I said going back, it was going to, especially after an international break, I was expecting us to kind of go up, maybe not get past second gear, third gear, but to see that kind of kind of record being broken in the way we even played that second half last night. You were just saying, what a phenomenal team this is to get the ball over the line every single time. So I think it's a great record to break.
Yeah, let me know, chat, as well. Let me know your thoughts on that as well. Get to all your comments as well before we do dive into obviously the beginning of the match and obviously how the game did unfold. And if you're new around here, whether you're watching on Facebook, TikTok as well, or YouTube, hit that follow button down below and get involved, Reds. It's going to be a mad week for all of us, whether you're in work, if you've got City mates or Manc mates or whatnot. Hopefully the Reds, like they have last night, put a spring in our boots, really, and obviously we're going progressing. We're just spidering it. We're just enjoying every single second, mate. I was speaking to Dave earlier on in the week, and it's just absolutely phenomenal how blessed we are to watch these lads every single bloody week.
Yeah, it's just I be happy you're a Liverpool fan over the last 3 years or so, 4 years or so since Klopp came in. Really, enjoy this. It won't last forever. But hopefully, the format that Klopp leaves behind whenever he goes will stay with us. After he leaves, and he creates a new legacy. Let him be our modern day Shanks and pass the gauntlet to the next. He said it himself during the week in an interview that they have their own style of boot room now.
Yeah.
So they've up, where they go and relax at. He says, we have that place now, and I didn't realize it until it dawned on me. He said, at the start of this season, really, that we do have this boot room place to go to where we can talk other differences and we can sit down and have a pint after the match, And he said him and Pep Linders and all the rest of the guys always just freaking. It's like a ritual that they have now. So I like hearing that kind of stuff now because it keeps true to what we as a club were like in the past and what we are now. And we went wayward for about 20 years, I think. But outside that, enjoy it while we have it now, lads. That's all I say.
Yeah. 100%, mate. And shout out to Ula Yegan's missus. Obviously, she gave him a shout to do that. But I as you said there, mate, obviously, talking about obviously the great interview, Jurgen Klopp. If you haven't seen it, Crouchy done a good interview. Obviously, ex-Liverpool player. We all know Crouchy. Can't miss him, really, can you? It's on BC's YouTube channel, so I'd implore go and check that out as well, everyone. But absolutely spot on. Shout out to Liz, Gary, Mike, Tom, Sean, most importantly as well. Shout out to everyone. If you're watching this on the repeat or if you're watching live, absolute bloody legends. Don't mind dropping a like on the video. Really just help the channel grow. But Spider, we'll go through. Obviously, Liverpool took the lead. Obviously, courtesy to big man Ibu Kanate. He's really shining this season, as you mentioned before, mate. He's last night. Apart from obviously the little mistake, and obviously he was on social media after the game. He said it's a learning curve. This lad's still so young and
he's very young.
Yeah, he's 23, 22 years old, but he's absolutely growing from strength to strength. And last night was a very dominant performance, apart from obviously the mistake. But he's allowed that because he's still a young lad, and really. Last night, apart from obviously the mistake, him and Van Dijk, especially as you mentioned in that second half, there was small moments in that second half that Liverpool did have our backs against the wall. I still would expect going away to Benfica or any European side in the Champions League, you fully expect to be on the back foot in certain moments within games. But what were your thoughts on Ibu's game, really, mate? And obviously, what really stood out to you in terms of his game last night?
Well, for me, he's 10 out of 10 for effort every time he plays. Alone before he even kicks a ball or heads a ball. His clearances are very good last night. There was issues with there wasn't issues, I should say. There was no issues with his ability to head the ball and stuff last night. The only thing I said was that he kind of fell for Everton's trap a couple of times in the game, but that was a learning curve. He learned from it. That miss. Jesus, Carragher back in his days, was capable of scoring a couple of own goals. The best of them can have an off 10 seconds. So I wouldn't. He'll be world class as he's going forward with us. Matip is in his 30s now. Gomez, if he can stay injury free, if he stays at the club after this season, I don't know, but from like Konate is one that's there for the future, along with Van Dijk. Defenders tend to last a lot longer than what the rest of the team lasts, as well as goalkeepers. So 100%. hopefully, we'll see him into 2 contracts with the club minimum, and going forward, he'll be world class. I wouldn't be worried about him at all. Not even slightly.
Spot on there, mate. Chat, let us know your thoughts on Ibu Konate. And obviously the great goal, obviously a lovely assist by Andy Robinson, an outward swinger corner, and it was as Spider's alluded to, we hopefully this is a sign of things to come. You'd think, chat, as well, wouldn't you? And everyone, obviously the sheer presence of Ibu and Van Dijk in the boxes, especially obviously clearing corners for opposition teams, but obviously when you're speaking about obviously attacking corners, and hopefully I think all of us would love a cheeky header from Ibu or Virgil van Dijk come this Sunday, because I think obviously Ruben Diaz, I think he has been ruled out for that game, and especially if John Stones isn't playing, obviously you've got the likes of Nathan Aki, and obviously
he's not great in the year.
No, and Laporte as well. So hopefully Ibu does stamp his authority in obviously the opposition and also obviously our box. But as Spider did allude to, chat, let us know, would you start Ibu against City? I think for me personally, I would possibly go with the big man Joel Matip anyway. But obviously, it's everyone's personal preference. But it's the beauty of having those options. So we've obviously Liverpool, great start to the game. Obviously, Ibu Konate off the back of a cross from, and it was a great start. And then Liverpool do get our second goal, courtesy of a Sadio Mane goal and a lovely headed assist by Diaz. But Spider, we've got to mention the Scouse lads. What a bloody phenomenal pass that was to hit Liverpool on the counter attack, wasn't
it? Yeah. Look. We're missing Trent when he's not there. We have to say that. People will they'll always mention he was never strong. And there's my little baby, newborn baby, talking in the background. Hello. But she needs a feed. But the Trent Alexander-Arnold, his presence and crossing in the game is missed like immensely when he's not in the team. You can show that we lack going forward. You can see that a lot of more pressure is put on Mo up on the right hand side, because he doesn't have that release of both Henderson and Trent up that side, because Gomez tends to arrive a bit later. No, in fairness, he gave a great cross into Jota last week, but he was just pulling a bit of Trent out of himself. But yeah, look, the passing is phenomenal from even all the Scouse lads that are playing this team at the moment have got great talent, and I'd love to see more of them coming through. But there's the quality of the team that's there. They're going to be battling for a long time to try and get into that team, 100%. So I'm delighted to see the likes of Harvey getting in there, Jones and Trent. So long may it continue. But man, some of the passing is just ridiculous over these guys, isn't it? Yeah.
Trent could have. On another night, Trent comes away with a bloody hat trick of assists. We do run out of superlatives about Trent, and obviously all of our players every single week. The defy expectations really, week in, week out, as Spider's alluded to. Liz has gone with Fabinho attempting a shoulder roll after Ibu's goal was brilliant. Yeah, Liz, but it's him and when I think always when we do watch the game, him and Fabinho and Firmino have the best celebrations. Bobby loves a cheeky dance, and obviously it was that great picture. Have I got it on one of my graphics here? Was it one of the dancers? No, we haven't, but obviously we all seen that little dance, obviously, for Fabinho and Diaz, the South American flair and the South American dance. And don't think me or Spider could pull off those dance moves.
Nobody has a clue what Bobby's going to do next. It's the most awkward looking South American celebration, but I don't care. I want to see it every week. That's the kind of way it is. But it'll never get to the heights of what's his name, Sturridge. But But it's leave him have a little shimmy. He doesn't know what he's doing half the time. He just kind of goes in with it, doesn't he? When it happens, and he's just like, yeah, this will do.
Absolutely phenomenal there, last spot on there, Liz. Konate, Gary. Konate is a beast, absolutely spot on. Konate is a great signing. We are lucky to have him as well. If you need to shoot off, mate, for a little second, just give us a
No,
shout.
the wife
Right,
is out there. Yeah,
yeah,
she's
no
she's
worries.
passing by the kitchen. That's the thing.
No worries.
So we're picking up the outside.
Konate is a great signing. We are lucky to have him. Absolutely spot on, Liz, as always. I think Matip starts Sunday, but if with his pace, Ibu has to be mentioned. Yeah, it's going to be intriguing, a tactical battle. Obviously, we will be having our combined Liverpool starting 11 show. I think I got it jotted down as tomorrow. Yeah, we'll be having that out tomorrow, so make sure you head over on the channel for that. But 100% good options. I would start Gomez and Matip. Gary, what for? Second leg, are you talking about? Because I was going to say, it'd be a bit mad starting Gomez and Matip, especially Gomez. Not that they'd be out with the depth against City, but I think obviously we have to start Virgil van Dijk, especially. It's interesting that when we've all watched Van Dijk, I don't think all of us, Matip has been our best centre-half this season. I think we can all 100% agree with that in terms of obviously over the space of a 38-game season. But Van Dijk, I think he's warming up in his spider. And chat, would you say, in terms of he's getting, we could say a lot similar with Alisson, every single game that passes and every save that he makes, these players are growing into form at the right time of the season.
Yeah, I mean, the injury that Van Dijk had it's career ending. You know, back in the day, that would end your career. There was no rehabilitation from it. There was no nothing. Your career was over once you got that before, you know. These days, it takes a lot to get back. And look, for example, look at Ox, you know, when he got injured, he still hasn't recovered from that. But Van Dijk, you know, at least, but he's had a lot of injury worries. So hence why he's kind of, you know, as broken as he is. But Van Dijk, you know, it's going to take him time to get that pace up. It's going to take a lot longer than just that season to build up the strength around that knee. He's going to have to, you know, things take nearly almost up to 2 seasons before it's fully rehabilitated. And, you know, he's at the level that he's playing at now, it has even surprised me because I thought there'd be a lot of issues with with his injury coming back. I thought, you know, he might get relapses or whatever like that, but he hasn't. He's been phenomenal, and that's what a Rolls Royce defender does for you. You know, they look after themselves, they do the right training, they do everything. They don't risk it by doing something stupid, you know. It just goes to show the quality of the standards that of the lads that are in our team, you know, compared to, you know, what it used to be like back in the day, where you mightn't see a guy for 2 or 3 seasons, you know, at one time. But no, fantastic. He's a Rolls Royce defender. Matip has just been another 10 levels above what the way he's used to play, and I'm delighted that he's able to get a run of games together as much as he has this season compared to the last couple of seasons with us. So delighted with that.
It's spot on there, mate. It's intriguing, and I think obviously we'll find out coming at the end of May. Obviously, we have got options, but it's interesting that obviously I think Jurgen Klopp has very much gone with Ibu in quite a couple of the Champions League games. Obviously, I think if Liverpool want to, like we did last night, we imposed. We obviously everyone knows we do play a high line, but especially in Europe, I think we've seen obviously Van Dijk and Ibu Konate. Especially in the Champions League games that we have seen of Liverpool, the bully, similar to the second leg. Yes, Liverpool did get beat at Anfield, but there was you got Lautaro Martinez, obviously Edin Dzeko. You just couldn't be asked tracking back. You were like, it's Van Dijk. I'm not going to win a race with them, but it's the fact that obviously the great positional play of Ibu, especially last night, mate, and especially Liverpool on the last line. Yes, Benfica did get in a couple of times, but that's the high-risk football that we all know Liverpool do play, especially in the last couple of years, but it does pay off. And none of this notion of rival fans off the back of, Benfica did get in. Yes, they got in 1 or 2 times, but it's this rule of you got BT and Sky and every sports outlet going, the opposition's had an attempted attack. No, the majority of the time they have been offside, but the flag has then gone offside. It makes it look like a chance. But we spoke about the second goal. Lovely assist by Diaz. Obviously, the Trent, the more or less the assist for the second goal. And then Nunes, we've mentioned briefly as well, mate. Obviously, Ibu making that mistake, but he's allowed to. Yeah. He's very young, and obviously that does combined to obviously the overall game in which he had. We're not going to rest too much on our laurels and that, but the third goal, Spider, and chat, let me know your thoughts on that. It was a typical, but well, just quickly, mate. I know we have briefly mentioned, but Naby Keita for that third goal, mate, and just his overall game. We'll speak about the assist by Naby Keita. For me, when I was watching that game last night, mate, and chat, let us know that is the Naby Keita I want to see week in, week out, 100,000,000%.
He said it himself just during the week. He said, "You haven't seen the real Naby Keita yet, and I'm feeling fresher and fitter than I have in years. Yeah, I'm taking knocks, but my body feels a lot better in where I wanted it to be." He said, and I'm hoping you see the best of Naby Keita like we did in Germany. He said, and he was right. He put on a great performance. He outshone Thiago, who had an easy kind of game in the first half, but then he was caught in the second half and obviously had to go off. But he was brilliant. Throughout the entire game, the pass for Diaz, everything. He's tracking back. He's helping out Fabinho. He says he likes building from the defense and moving forward as a midfielder rather than just kind of hanging around receiving the ball and leaving it. He likes to come back and win the ball back and then move forward again. So yeah. So that's kind of that's the kind of defender he is. I want to see it. I want to see him making those mazy runs that he used to make as well in Germany, and I want to see that as good as it is going forward. I want to see him that good going forward, And if so, we're in for a treat, really. We might even need to go to the market for another midfielder during the window. We do need a competition on in the right back position for Trent, I think, because it shows that when he's missing, we are kind of we're a little below par when he's not there to put in those balls. We need someone similar to come in. I thought we had it in Neco Williams, but looks like he's gone towards Fulham. So I would much rather see it where we go for a right back in the summer. But sticking with Naby Keita, he was phenomenal. The ball to Diaz.
He deserves his flowers, mate.
He does.
Especially after a performance like that.
He worked his arse off, he did.
Yeah, absolutely spot on there, mate. Let us know, chat, on Naby Keita's performance. One of his best performances this season. I think you've got to put that performance and the Manchester United performance, two of the best performances. I wish if you could just capture, just keep Naby fit for all season. We've got a hell of a player, but fingers crossed that's all behind him now. And obviously he puts that performance, but as Spider did allude to, I think what most impressed me, obviously, as well as going forward, chat as well, was his defensive duties, as Spider alluded to. I think sometimes he does get criticised, and I have criticised him in the past, but I mean, he was a lot more switched on last night than he has been in recent weeks. But Naby Keita, bloody what a performance, and we've seen that when we have played Naby against the likes of obviously Portuguese opposition, obviously Pep Linders, and obviously the Portuguese technical staff as well for Liverpool, obviously picked holes in Benfica's weaknesses in their armour, really, and that's very much what Naby Keita done. He allowed to get into the pockets of space last night, really, that I felt that especially him and Thiago do that the best in terms of Liverpool when we are playing our top level in terms of our game. But it's going to be interesting. Would you start Naby at the Etihad? For me personally, I'd go with Henderson. But I think if you're bringing on Naby or if you're bringing on a Jota, to say, if both of them don't start and if the result is going in the way of Manchester City, I think those two players coming off the bench on Sunday will offer you so much more in terms of if they did start the game, and then obviously bringing them two off the bench will be absolutely phenomenal. But shout out to Liz as well. Our rehab/training team also deserve a shout out. 100% agree with that, Liz. Absolutely phenomenal. I think behind closed doors, obviously when I've been listening to everyone's podcasts and everything, obviously a lot more intelligent people in terms of obviously analysing the technical stuff, but some of the stuff people will be coming out with obviously in recent weeks in terms of when you do your absolute digging in terms of what Liverpool have been doing behind closed doors. It's absolutely phenomenal. I don't know the names, Liz, of obviously the technical staff and training team, but there's people behind closed doors that are trying to keep hold of Naby and keep him fully fit. Obviously getting Thiago back, as you mentioned there, Liz, the rehab in terms of Gomez, the Spider alluded to at the top of the show, Van Dijk as well. and even the saying to extent of obviously throwing coaches as well. We had that a couple of years ago. They've done a great interview with obviously Thomas Gronemark, obviously the throwing coach. Every aspect of Liverpool's game, but most importantly, Liverpool do come away with a couple of titles this season, 100% there, Liz. It's the people that don't know necessarily, obviously, we're applauding, obviously, technical staff, Jurgen Klopp and the players on the pitch, but it's most importantly, Liverpool, not just as a fan base, we're all one big family, but in terms of the ethos in which Jurgen Klopp does give to everyone at the football club, we're all pulling in one direction. I'm pretty sure. Hopefully we do the business in every competition, but shout out to everyone behind the scenes at Liverpool. Great performance, most of last night. Nerve jangling for this weekend. North, this is what we're all Liverpool fans for, mate. And it's the big moments. We're just blessed to be in the opportunity, in with a shout of potentially going to the Etihad and really putting a nail in Manchester City's coffin, really. Yeah. But I tell you, yeah, go on.
Another stat there from Keita from last night, if you hadn't seen it. His passing was 92%. 92% last. That's 72 out of 78 passes he completed last night, you know. He had second most chances created in the game. All the rest are all first. 106 touches, assists, 4 shots, dribbles, tackles, and interceptions. All number one. So that'll just tell you how good he was last night on that pitch, you know. Maybe, you know, I know I'm not going to say that the quality of Benfica was a bit lacking, I think, last night, but in the midfield, in the defense, I should say. In the midfield, they were perfectly fine going forward. They're fine. So you can see that they're a club that just has defensive issues. But he just dominated them all in that middle of that park, didn't he?
Yeah,
when he was
100%.
so, yeah, the holy show. And it wouldn't surprise me if Millie starts on Sunday.
Oh, it'd be interesting. Not a right back. Hopefully, it isn't the case.
No.
Remember that, especially Foden coming.
Yeah, Klopp tends to start Millie in games against City for some reason. It's like he knows him well. So like every second game or something, Millie has started. So you'll see him in one of those games, at least, I'd say.
Yeah, definitely come off the bench, mate. Especially. 100%. Great performance, most of all last night. Yeah, spot on. Liz. Ali with the ball at his feet outside the box still gets me heckles up. It's typical Ali anyway. We wouldn't change it. It was a lovely bloody, not for us as fans, because we're having kittens really. But Ali, he knows what he's doing. Don't think any of us could pull it off, most importantly. Canate is impressive. Spot on there, North. Nabby lad. Spot on there, Liz. And do you want some chicken, lad? The Curtis Jones to Fabinho. I'm pretty sure he had some chicken last night. Absolute legends. Who's the mid for Sunday? That's the big question there, North. North asked you, everyone who's asked me in there. Well, for me, I go straight away, Spider. Let North know in the comments and let everyone know. I'd go with Henderson, Fabinho in the 6 and Thiago for me, mate. I think that's... Yeah. I'd love to play Naby, but I think as we've already mentioned in today's show, mate, in terms of obviously when you've got Kevin De Bruyne, like Icon Gundogan, Bernardo Silva coming off, you need to be switched on 100%. Yeah. Thiago, we know how good Thiago is in terms of obviously off the ball movements. As good as he is going forward, especially when Thiago did play in that 2 pivot at Bayern Munich, and alongside obviously whether it was Goretzka or obviously Joshua Kimmich as well. He's so alert and obviously he's such a good technical player, but who would you start, Spectre? That'd be my 3. Spider, sorry. Who would you start?
I would have the same, you know. Like also Thiago, he can dominate a midfield or he can get lost in a midfield. So like if you want him in and you want to control the game, but we're going to be away at the City, you might, if we were at home against City, you'd probably start Thiago. No, that would be my first choice, would be Henderson, Fabinho and Thiago. But considering that we're away from home and Klopp might want to, you know, play the counter-attack game rather than the domination game, because City are going to try and dominate at home, then you might see a Naby in there or a Jones or something like that coming in there, you know. And that's what I was thinking, that he might even throw a million there to do the doggy work first and then, you know, change up the midfield once he's tired out. Which you want Thiago in there tiring out the midfield, the Manchester City midfield. So you want them to receive the ball, make sure somebody's about to close them in, then release it, tearing down their energy while he doesn't do much of anything except for receive, turn, release. You know, so that's what you kind of want to see. him in there for. So hopefully we start those 3 lads. But if he is, that's if we're going to go for a controlled game and to not give City too much possession. But if City are taking the possession and are going for that, I would definitely, I would start Thiago, but if not, then Naby would be a shout for the counter attack kind of game, So.
Yeah, 100% and you never know. I think Jurgen Klopp has got a history of obviously starting Naby in big games. I mean, the maddest one was a couple of years back, wasn't it? I think it was last year when we got knocked out by Real in the Champions League. I think he took everyone by surprise and started Naby.
Yeah.
And there was another game, I think it was a couple of years ago, and it was one of the European away games, and he started Naby. So it wouldn't surprise me if he did start with Naby. But for me personally, chat, let us know. I'm pretty sure everyone's getting the starting 3 in midfield for Sunday afternoon. Reds afternoon. Captain Sal, absolute legend, mate. Thank you for tuning in. Hey, hello. Stateless afternoon, Jack and Chat. Absolutely. Thank you very much for tuning in, mate. We're all having a lovely afternoon. We will be live tonight, everyone. We will be watching the Champions League game, and then we'll have an eye on the Everton game, won't we? But we'll just forget about that, especially if they do score. But we'll be all eyes will be on the massive game, Chelsea versus Real Madrid. We're doing a live stream watch along, so hopefully do see us in there tonight as well. Seeing a fit Naby Keita and Matip is so refreshing. We always had the squad depth, but injuries made us short. 100% there, Tony. I think obviously Jurgen Klopp spoke with Peter Crouch this week in terms of that interview for BT. Crouch was like all of us. He is a massive Liverpool fan anyway. He had the privilege of playing for Liverpool as a player as well. And even he was just asking, you could see how giddy he was. He was so made up to be interviewing Klopp. And he was like, it's great to see how this squad, but Klopp answered back straight away and said, we had the same squad apart from obviously Ibu and Diaz last year. But as you said there, Tony, it was injuries that really stopped Liverpool. And then you had all the pundits that are getting paid thousands of pounds to give their opinions, and their bitterness shone through in all their traditions. It's more or less, yes, Liverpool last year had injury issues. We all know them, but it was almost like all of our players' abilities at the beginning of this season. Like everyone, especially outside of Liverpool, the pundits and that, just forgot how good this Liverpool team is. And we're reminding them now, aren't we, Spider and everyone?
Yeah.
It's absolutely tremendous.
Yeah, but I mean, if you... Oh, sorry. For me, Jack, the question you got to answer there is, would United's team using United as an example or everything, losing the players that we lost last season to injury, would their team be finishing third or would they be battling for relegation? That's just your answer right there. And the fact that the quality that's in our squad, it was, injuries hindered us, but the mentality that's in that squad got us into third place. Even the lads that came off for those 5 months and played in defence for us, Phillips and Reece, they got us to third place, and it just shows you the qualities throughout the whole squad and the academy and everything. So there you go. Sorry.
Absolutely. It's all right, that's all. Who would you start, Jack and Spider, for the City game? Good questions, everyone. Keep getting any questions in. Me and Spider, just the hosts, most important, the user, most important, your comments and answers, get them into your fellow Reds around the world as well. Diaz left wing, Firmino striker. For me, Diaz for Tony. Diaz left wing, Firmino striker, and left wing Mane / Jota off the bench, Salah onto if that don't work. Options there, mate. But for me, I've mentioned my 3. We'll speak about that in the build-up show. But for me, I'd go with Diaz. Obviously, he has scored at the Etihad for Porto, and I think he terrorised them that game. Obviously, cutting off the back left. And obviously, Kyle Walker, if you didn't watch that game, but I remember watching the highlights, and Diaz was bloody running rings around Diaz. Kyle Walker, he cut in from the left, obviously, with his great goal, cut across the whole bloody City box, and no one picked him up, and hopefully we do see something very similar.
Phenomenal goal.
Yeah, but for me, it'd be Diaz, Firmino, Diaz, Mane, and Salah, and I think bringing off Jota will be massive as well. But wouldn't surprise me but for me, I'd start Mane through the middle. But it's options. Spider, quick one. Who would you start?
I would go with all favourites just to kind of because they know him well. But I would do Mane, Firmino, and Salah just starting, and then we bring Jota and Diaz on as impact later, because if you see them coming off the bench fresh, you know there's a goal being able to be nicked somewhere out of them. So yeah, I would start with Mane, Firmino, and Salah, just because they know how to play against City. You know, Bobby's got his fair share of goals against City as well in the past, so I definitely would. And Salah loves a game against City, so.
Yeah, chat as well. It's going to be so many shows. Hopefully, get spidered on very soon as well this week. I'm hopefully going to get quite a lot of people on. Obviously, everyone's so busy doing all the content, but obviously everyone's quite hard pressed for time. Obviously, most importantly, not everyone can sit at home doing YouTube videos. But Philip Jacobson is the head of fitness rehabilitation. Spot on there, Liz. It's a great name, that, isn't it? But obviously, so important. 100% there, Liz. It's pronounced James freaking Milner. Spot on there, Liz. If we see Milner in the starting 11, I'm going to be screaming this from Tony. I love Milner, but not starting quality as well. I think it'd be interesting. I'd love to see, I think all of us would love to see a camera in Manchester City's changing room just to see Pep's meltdown. It was bad enough watching that documentary a couple of seasons ago when he was sat at Goodison Park 4 weeks prior to the Liverpool game in the Champions League, pulling his hair out, well, snapping his bald head. But he was so it's stressing already. Mate, that be said as well. Hi, Jack. Big game, mate. Lalu, not just a bit, mate. Probably with Liverpool, just a bit Sunday. Do we all agree Thiago, Fabinho and Naby is our best midfield? Henderson nowhere near the quality, but can do a shift. Jones up and coming with Harvey. For me, Tony, I don't know, Spider, not Seth. For me, I was made up, absolutely made up to see that starting 11. I was like, oh, bloody hell. Because it was just exciting to see, obviously, those three. Obviously, Thiago, Fabinho and Naby. It's really attacking. Obviously, Fabinho doing the six business as he does. Best holding midfield player in world football at the minute on current form. I know Kante is more of a box-to-box, but in recent weeks, he's been really out of form. The fact that he had Christian Eriksen playing midfielders, I tell you, if Chelsea have the game in which he did against Brentford, then they could get slapped up silly by a very experienced Real Madrid side. But for me, Tony, I'd say in terms of attacking-wise, it was our best midfield. But in terms of marshalling games, I think Henderson, especially certain moments in that second half, the Spade alluded to before, it was running away from us in a little moments. But I think that Fabinho will grow into his sixth role, even though he's been playing in that position for a very long time in the last couple of years. But Henderson is needed. I think we all agree on that in terms of there is moments and games within we have seen this season. But for me, if we were playing the Champions League final, I'd have to start. I think all of us would have to start with Henderson because he's Liverpool's bloody captain and we need his captaining qualities. Spider, would you agree with that?
Look, I was Henderson's biggest critic when he first joined the club. Especially in that final, I was saying get him off the pitch going back. It was 2012 or something in the final. I was like, get him off, because he was poor. It was just the occasion was the team was big for him, but he grew into that captain role unbelievably well, and I couldn't have thought of a better person to take over from Gerrard after he left. To be honest with you, he surprised me. He's completely turned me around on how good he is. But nobody gives as much work rate in that team as Henderson does. Yeah, he's been a bit lacking this season, a bit tired looking, a bit jaded. But he did miss the tournament throughout the summer as well. He's been missing. He's been run down by the end of the season. So I'm kind of glad that Naby is stepping up at the moment because we need those extra legs in midfield to help out. And if Naby can play like he did last night every week, there's a shout for him. But Henderson's our captain. He knows what's expected of us. He knows what we need, and he knows what needs to be done, and he knows how to control that midfield when he wants to. Everybody gives Thiago praises on how he can control a midfield, but it's Henderson's dog work, and it's just his rate that he goes at non-stop, 110% every game. Even if he's falling on his feet, he's still going. Reminds me of Carragher in that way a bit, and but without him, he knows, he can see it. He knows what he's doing. You know, he's the guy that you go to. Keita can get lost in games. So, I mean, it's great that he turned up last night, but he hasn't turned up maybe for the last 5 games before that. You know, maybe since the United game, that was his next best game was last night. You know, so that's where you kind of have to go with experience and, you know, and who knows the game. And there's nobody knows bigger games better than Jordan Henderson.
Yeah, spot on there, Tony, as always. Everyone keep on getting your comments in for your Reddit as well. Got your questions and that, let us know, Tony, but spot on there. Great question there, fella. Nunes would fit in at Liverpool. Gary was saying this to, obviously, Scholes on the live stream. I think we will see him go to a top team in and around Europe post this year. I think he got like 23, 24 goals in the Premier League. Yeah, I think he'd be yeah, obviously, especially last night, especially in those wide areas. When Liverpool did push on our fullbacks, he seems quite mature in terms of his game for such a young lad. But he'll be a tremendous player in the next couple of years. Another Uruguayan striker, another great Uruguayan striker. Thiago Fabinho, no brainer. After that, it's up for debate. I love Hendo, but Naby is pushing 100% there. Liverpool need a number 9. Interesting there, Gary. I don't think, obviously, we play in different aspects, don't we, Gary? Obviously, Bobby playing that in that 9 role, but obviously more or less a floating 10, really, don't you? And then obviously Jota coming off the bench. Mane can play through the middle. It's options, Gary, in it. But
Klopp doesn't play with a striker, does he?
Yeah.
He brings them on when he needs them, but he's never played with a striker. It's always been 3 attacking midfielders and wingers that have played up front. He's never had like an out-and-out striker. Divock comes on when we really need him. But outside that, I've never seen him buying a number 9. Yeah. Sturridge was our last striker, I think.
Yeah, 100%, mate. Keita was boss last night, 100%. Gary, bloody phenomenal. Both words, really. Versus City, Alisson, Trent, spot on there, stateless. Everyone, you're welcome to get your starting 11s in for the game, really, and what you want to see, really, that as well. Going off the back of obviously a great display last night. If Liverpool if we can encapsulate really aspects of night's game, what you want to see, what we done last night into the City game. Obviously, bearing in mind the opposition, very difficult. Probably Liverpool and City are the 2 best teams in European football, so it will be difficult. But I mean, if Liverpool play our game, we all know it's not going to be easy, but it'll be an interesting game. If we make not more than an interesting, probably will be the best game this year. Obviously, it was a very probably one of the best games in Premier League that we have seen already. This year anyway. But in terms of obviously Mane, right winger, we don't know what Jota will do against City. Really do great off the bench, 100% there, Tony. Options, shattering. I would start Salah based on the form. I wouldn't start Salah based off form. Mane's coming back a bit. Jota and Diaz are both hot on form, and Bobby is just Bobby sauce. Elliott could start Sunday. Massive shout that, Gary. For me personally, I think it's too big of a game for him. Because I think in recent games this season, he has really been. He's still a young lad. We all know how good he is. Similar to Curtis Jones, I think all of us, it's difficult when we do watch this Liverpool side. I think we expect players to come in straight away, given their age as well. Similar to Ibu Konate, those 3 lads, Ibu, Curtis and Elliott, is still so young. There's a lot of development, and obviously this season, would you say, Spider and shall let us know there's still so much to come from these lads. But I think everyone I've seen especially on social media, non-Liverpool Spider, especially when you do look at a player like Foden, but Trent and Foden are very much generational talents, aren't they? I think everyone expects a young player to come through the ranks at both clubs and clubs in and around the Premier League.
I would say the Elliott case is that he came back really quickly after the injury. He was running at 100 miles an hour throughout every game that he played, and he's kind of got a little bit of burnout, or like writer's block, if you want to call it that way. My only biggest thing with Jones is quality on the ball. He's got an eye for a pass. He's got a great strike in him, but sometimes it's his final decision making that catches, that doesn't do it for me. Instead of making that pass, he decides, right, oh, he can make that pass out to Salah now, but instead he'll turn inside, turn again, and then that pass is gone, which was the obvious one to Salah in the first time. So if he can take that out of his game and just, make the ball a lot more fluid throughout the middle of the park, he'd see a lot more game time, to be honest with you, because he's got great talent, and I want to see him moving that ball. He's meant to be a transition anchor player, so he's not meant to be the star. He can't be looking to take a shot every time he gets the ball. He needs to be looking where the players are going and then get himself into the box, and maybe he'll get on the end of something. But he can't be going for worldies every single time. There's passes that are on that we're in dangerous positions and the lads are making runs forward, and sometimes he just needs to put his head up and look at that. Milan Barros was like is an example of that. He used to have the head down all the time and he'd never see the pass on. He was just running and running and running. But if he can bring that into his play, man, where he can release the ball just a little bit faster than what he's doing, Jones, he'd be a starting 11 for me all the time.
Yeah, 100% there, chat as well. Spot on what Spider said there as well. I think all of us can agree. Obviously, a game of this magnitude, Elliot's not played in the Champions League final, has he? Hopefully one day he will this season, but especially when the opposition against City, like we seen last night, obviously, it was difficult. Obviously, no disrespect to Benfica, but they're not Man City come Sunday. No. And obviously, the likes of De Bruyne, Rodri as well, even though he's a good DM. Him and Fabinho, probably one of the best DMs in world football. And especially when Rodri doesn't play, I think City. Yeah, they've got so many. And Phil Foden, if you do play him left wing, like we see at Anfield, obviously Milner played that day, but I think even Foden come off the bench. I think, like yourself, people were raving about Foden, but he changed the game last night, and he will be I think we need to keep an eye on that. Big debate already, which was Tony, that's a show for another night, mate. But thank you for your comment, La. But keep the positive nature as well. But we will have a show on that, Tony, very soon. But appreciate your comment, mate, as always. Absolute legends. It was the first time Thiago and Naby started together. Thiago, I think it was Fabinho as well. First time in Liverpool's this season, obviously in previous seasons as well. But they did not disappoint, did they, Liz? I'll have no agreement with any of the from three permutations. We may go just as long as if it's not working, we don't wait too long to change it. 100% there north. And I think all of us, we've watched Jurgen Klopp this season. We're speaking about Liverpool growing into form, but Jurgen Klopp in terms of his decision making was being absolutely on point this season. It was a couple of weeks ago. I think you all know the games. Obviously, Jurgen, right, you're off, or a couple of made 3 instant substitutions, flips the game on its head. And there's been that many bloody games. I think the Leicester game in the Cup, I know, obviously, and Jota was wound up, and rightly so, for the shite they were singing at Anfield. It's hard one to who's best one in attacking, but a very solid one in Hendo, Fabinho, Thiago. Options there. Good shout, North. My captain, 100%. We went from bringing on Adam Lallana in the Champions League final when Salah goes off to bringing on Bobby or Diaz. If they're on the bench, I still think our starting 11 is Mane, Jota, and Salah, 100%. And I think it'll be exciting as well, Spider, won't it? Mo, he's going through a tricky moment, and he's still playing. He's still producing off the ball. Obviously, he's just lacking the odd goal. But I think all of us would put our hands up, and we'd absolutely bloody love it if he scored the winner against City in like the 95th minute.
Take that all day long. Leave him be trapped out in the wing if he wants to for most of the game, as long as he comes up with a winner at the end. But Salah is world class. You can't take that away from him. He's allowed to have dips in 2 or 3 games in a row. It happens to the best of them. Some world class legends have gone almost 10 to 15 games without getting involved in a goal, and then turn around and score another 20. It's just what they do. He's world class. He's the best player in the world at the moment. I wouldn't question it. There's a lot going on with his contract and stuff. He's trying not to let it phase him, but I think all of it kind of catches up with him, and the disappointment as well of what happened in AFCON and in them not getting into the World Cup. But no, you can put it behind him. I'd say it could be the last time you see him in an Egyptian shirt, unless he keeps the same form. He could play right up into his late 30s. But
100%.
But I wouldn't put it past. I would. Him and Mane have such a good understanding of their runs together. This is why I kind of have to start them together in big games. And it's great kind of bringing on starting a Diaz and a Jota, but they don't do the work great. Diaz he'll run at anybody, but coming inside as much as Mane and Salah do to link up with those midfielders and wingers, so the wing backs. So yeah, for me, world class. He knows how this team works. This team is based around him and how he plays. So he's a no-brainer starter for me.
Liverpool legends potentially could be, if he does sign that deal, one of Liverpool's greatest ever. Even though he's been so consistent, as said there, mates, last 5-6 years, been crazy.
Yeah.
Everyone, I will be getting to your comments. Apologies, I'm a bit slow because that bloody many. I don't want to be missing any ones. But if you have missed any ones, obviously we still got bloody about 2 pages, so we'll get to them. But just want to make sure I don't miss any ones as well. You have to be bloody legends, video, appreciate it. No argument into that one. Yeah, I've gone backwards here. We'll be here for a very long time. I'm going backwards. Lovely little player, Kunku, Tony. I think a lot of teams will be going after him. Yeah, it's a shame João Felix plays in the Spanish Burnley team, mate. I think Jurgen Klopp, when we did get beat by Atletico a couple of years ago, he was full of praise in João Felix, and he said, imagine getting João Felix and getting him to ask him to be defended on his bloody 6-yard box. He's just there. And here's a comment we can all agree with. Go ahead, Gaddy. Go ahead there, Gary. Liz, absolutely legends. Who scores our first goal against City on Sunday? Quick one there, Spider. Who would you love to score, or who do you think realistically will score? Shall let us know.
Realistically, it has a smell of Matip off it from a corner, from across from a corner, doesn't it? Not even a Van Dijk, not even anybody else. It has a Matip, or a Matip head down and a bungle across the line from like a Bobby or a Salah or something like that at the start. But City will always have to sneak a goal against us at some point, and we're playing away from home. Look, we just have to go there, defend right, make the right moments, and just take away the win. I don't care who scores, to be honest. Just take away the bloody 3 points. But for me, Matt, it is a smell of Matip from a corner. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. For me, Trent all day, mate. I just imagine if Trent scored at Etihad, everyone would be going like that. To rubbish, he'll be getting shattered down the wings, all the anti-Scottish chants and all. They love us. They love Liverpool, really, don't they, City? But they're trying to be us, but they never will be us. You can't buy fans, can you? Sadly,
no.
You can buy a couple of. No, you can't buy fans. Hey, Liz.
No.
But for me, it'd be Trent all day. I'd love a Trent free kick at the Etihad to silence them and just for him to go like that. Typical Steven Gerrard, Mr. Cam at the Etihad, and he pointed a name on his back of his shirt. But I'll go Trent there, Tony, spot on. Liz, sorry, absolute legends. Hey, Liz, do a watch along tonight for the Everton game. The tears will be wonderful. Tony, obviously, we'll have both games on, and we might switch over if barely a second for I will have both games on. Obviously, I will put both teams, obviously, both big games on. Obviously, Bayern Munich, you'd expect them to steamroll the Real. But a shot could be on the cards. You never know, but should be quite comfortable for Bayern. But we will be doing a watch along, Tony, tonight. Hopefully, I do see you all in there. Tom, absolute legend. Afternoon, Jack. What's the cat with the Minecraft? Oh, don't get me started. That Tom, we'll speak about that. Oh, Christ. Just out across and everything. Because we are going to be needing. I don't want to be getting drawn to that, Tom. But that's for when we do our pre-match build-up show.
Tierney hates slap, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah. It's that video going round, Tom. Yeah. It was that video going round, Spider, wasn't it? Was it this season or the year before when you're going, I don't mind all the refs, but I hate you.
Yeah, I was only watching it myself last night in that video. He was just like, all the other refs say that. But he says it's always just you. I mean, all of these guys have been involved in some disastrous results for Liverpool and letting goals and overruling VAR and telling VAR what to do at the side because he wants it that way. And he seems to always get a hold of these games where we need to win. And he tries to make some sort of fuck up for us, and he just won't allow something. He won't let it go to VAR or something like that, or he doesn't listen to him. So I mean, yeah. Kane should have been sent off in that game when we played Spurs 2-1. So
100%. I'm pretty sure. I think it was chat. Let us know, but it'll be sounds. Everton versus Burnley, mate. 6-pointer, the battle for the relegation. Whoever wins that stays in the Premier League tonight, this season. I think if Everton win, they're staying in the Prem, but if Burnley win, I think it could give them a little boost as well. As we've seen in recent weeks, Brentford pull away. Obviously, Newcastle getting results in recent weeks. I know they've been getting battered recently, Newcastle, but it could be very soon. Afternoon, all you LFC legends on air, spots on there. So Diaz was on fire last night. Looks like he's been playing for us a couple of years. 100% agree with there. Just get through all these comments. A fellow won 90 quid, putting a 10 quid on. Not too bad there, Liz. Who's in the front line after Matip and Van Dijk and Artie Who's in the front line? We did mention about that before, Tony. For me personally, it'd be Matip and Van Dijk, and obviously the forward line for me would be Diaz, Mane and Salah for me, and Spider let us know anyway. It's because Spider's in the Spectre. Sorry, he's in the comments anyway. Yeah, it's because he's in the comments. Yeah, I never seen a player fit in as seamlessly as Diaz as well. Ox, Tony, Ox would shut me up there because everyone knows I'm not Ox's. One of Ox's biggest fans. I'd love it. 20 legends watching, only 14 of you have shown your amazing thumbs. Get yours likes up, everyone. Spot on there, Tom. I said, Chris, absolute legend. I said 3-1. You did, Chris. Absolutely spot on. We had that blip, which let them back into it. We do have 1 foot in the semi-finals, and that Diaz goal was needed. Still a professional performance. No one is a bad team if they reach the quarterfinals. 100% there.
See, the thing is, Jack, the City have a tough away game. No, they won it 1-0, but they have to go and win at Atletico. And Atletico, they're a shithouse team at home. So they have a tougher week coming up than what we do. That's guaranteed. So regardless of what happens, they want the Champions League more than the league. We know that. We want the league more than the Champions League. They know that. But they might just have one eye on that Atletico Madrid game coming up, and thinking that maybe we slip up along the way with the fixtures that we have for the rest of the season. But they have to go to Atletico next week spot on with their strongest 11 to beat them over there. Whereas we can go with our strongest 11 this week and put out a second string squad against Benfica next week and still get the result at home because it's at Anfield, So, some things are going in our favour, but hopefully all of them go in our favour. That'd be great, wouldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely spot on there, mate. 100% to get you there, mate, as well, as everyone's already said. It's psychologically as well. Football is a very psychological sport as well as obviously not every time. And like we've seen Liverpool this season, you can't always go 100%, 1,000,000%, and we've seen that last night, mate, didn't we? But as you said, it's going to be interesting. Psychologically, if Liverpool can get the result on Sunday, it'd be massive. It could derail them, but I don't think it would derail them because we know the experience within this City sides. But Navigator for me, more than a match, it's not an April Fool's joke. A very good performance from him. Probably the best I've seen him play in a Liverpool shirt. 100% there, Chris, as well. 100% agree with you there, fella. As well, it's hard to debate between Ederson and Alisson. I think Alisson is better shot stopping, but Ederson better with the ball as well. Yeah, I tell you, Ederson could play up front for City in that false 9 position, really, and he'd do a job. Probably get more assists than Grealish. I know Alisson has it already in the league. Do we have any injuries at the moment? Not at the minute, mate. Everyone bloody touch wouldn't you out. But fingers crossed, mate, it was looking quite good. It was a bit concerning that Fabinho went off. Well, he had that clash of heads back end of that game, but all looking good. He was good. He was fit enough and ready to put a cheeky tweet out on social media, so I think he's all right. Good out Fabinho, but it was a bit concerning, but obviously looking really positive. Our issue was in 2018, no depth with injuries, and we can take players off injured or rest them and drop them as much. Yeah, squad depth is Liverpool's key word, isn't it? Spider, it's squad depth. If you could encapsulate really the key word, it would be that one there.
Yeah, absolutely. The City, it was always hailed the City having the best squad the last few seasons and stuff. But I think at the moment we've got the best squad. I think our squad depth is much deeper than City's, especially up front. City are really lacking in striker department, and that could have really let them down going forward, because they didn't push out for Harry Kane as much as as they should have, and they went with Grealish, who's for me, he's been a flop. You know, he
Oh,
doesn't
yeah.
do much out there. You know, he doesn't do much out there, and I think it hinders, the likes of Bernardo Silva getting a start, or Mahrez getting a start, or Sterling is hindered him. And look how much he shone when he came on there this week and played. You know, so yeah, for me, it's just they're just trying to justify that 100 million, and they're not going to be able to, because he's never going to produce it. Grealish, for me, he's not going to do it.
He's too arsed about bloody Gucci, and don't get me started.
Yeah. He's
needs a fucking proper haircut. That's what he needs.
He's just a shit David Beckham, isn't he?
Yeah. Look, was to announce the Salah deal just before Sunday. That would be absolutely bloody lovely. The North, if we have
what if they announced it like it did when the Salah first got announced? Salah announced. Do you remember that when he first came to Liverpool and they did that video? That would be fantastic. Yeah.
or Rami Abbas just comes out and goes, "Can you just please shut up now? He signed his deal," and then deactivate all of his notifications, because he does get bloody pelters on social media because he doesn't help himself, right? But if he's to bring in one position somewhere, it would be, I think, midfield. Yeah, I think both of us would agree with that. Tony, Salah Diaz have probably done. He deserves every bloody penny there, and I think it would put to bed everything. Relegate, it's battle of the bloody relegation. Big up Jack, big up Jose as well, absolute legend. I'm ready to score a brace on Sunday if I start. Fingers crossed you do, lad. Be a bloody massive game, massive game. A lot of content coming, not just from me, but a lot of great channels out there, Liverpool, and obviously all on social media as well. Really hope Diaz plays on Sunday against Kyle Walker. Bring new problems to City. 100% there. We would obviously, I think, promote Felix, Gary, very good talent, mate. Villa shock at the last game. It is set up for that, Tony, but yeah, we're nearly through. Get to a couple more questions and we'll round off. Obviously, really appreciate Spider going on, mate. Absolute legends for sticking on this long as well. What do you think the League Kit next season video idea, maybe? Tony, I think you've missed one of the videos, mate. Yeah. I've already done them, lad. What are you doing? I've already done them, mate. I'll let you off, lad, anyway. But yeah, lovely little kits, mate. And there will be a pretty penny, as they always are. But hopefully it all goes to Mohamed Salah's new deal and big Norbert Klopp. I think always if it needs to be, we get Salah's new deal, Mane new deal, Firmino new deal, Klopp new deal. All of us would all be skint at the end of beginning next season.
I'm pretty sure that Salah's one of his stipulations in his deal is to know, that the club is going in the right direction. And I think Diaz is one of those signings, but I think he already knows what the future signings and the possibilities are going to be. Otherwise, he wouldn't be sitting down around the table to maybe sign a new deal when he could probably finish off his career and earn a pretty penny in Spain or something like that, or in France. So he knows he's still hungry.
Spider. Would you say it's Jurgen Klopp that he needs the big notification on, really?
Yeah, I think he wants to see that Klopp is going to stay around. I think Klopp is looking for his bumper deal as well. He deserves it as well. He's after bringing in 5 trophies since he's come here. So, definitely, and there's a potential 3 more this season alone. So, it definitely give it to him. If Jose Mourinho was worth all that 25 million a year, then Klopp is worth 30, is what I'd say. That.
Yeah.
So easily. So, give him the money as well.
Yeah, I mean, spot on there, mate. I remember when Van Dijk and Matip was gone, retire, who's our starting centre-backs. Oh, yeah, spot on there, Tony. Sorry, I might have missed one of your comments. But yeah, 100%. I think it is those two. Spider, would you say, chat as well? It's and what it's so important, especially when you got a player of the calibre of Van Dijk in it, obviously Spider and chat. Those two, most importantly, I'm not jumping on this bandwagon of saying Gomez is going. We need Gomez to stay. We know how good this lad can be when he is fully fit. I tell you now, we could continue playing our high line for the next post Van Dijk and post Matip for the next 5-10 years. in terms, obviously the game might evolve in terms of, obviously, like we've seen in the last 20 years, football's evolved every single bloody season, especially with the emergence of obviously Pep Guardiola and obviously Jurgen Klopp, mate. But we used to see those two being the long-term future of Liverpool.
Yeah, I could see him playing there. You know, we learned a kind of a lesson last season by letting Lovren go. I know he was due to go anyway, but it just goes to show, like, we lost Van Dijk pretty swiftly, you know, and straight after that we lost Gomez. You know, Matip then went near Christmas, and then we had Jordan Henderson and Fabinho, who both got injured then after Christmas. It just goes to show you, it's we need 4 top quality defenders in every squad, and we have 4 top quality defenders in our squad, and we need to keep the 4 defenders there. I know Gomez wants to play every game. And he might be looking elsewhere to go, but where's he going to go? You know, that play his type of football with the high line, with his pace that they can use. He's not a sit back and relax defender. He's a defender that chases back, and he's a defender that runs out. You know, so he's better staying here and battling for his place. I mean, the first one that should be going really is Matip eventually. He's in his 30s now. He should be going in the next season or 2.
Years.
You know, I want him to stay. I want to see it. No. But he's going to look for that. He's going to, in the next 2 seasons, he's going to start. Klopp is going to look to replace him, I think. But I would love him to stay there. He's a legend. He's a brilliant defender. He's come on leaps and bounds, and what a free transfer he's been. But for me, Konate and Gomez would be great to replace these 2 going forward. But you know, are they going to hang around that long to wait? Konate can, because he's only just starting his contract, but it's Gomez you want to keep there and keep him sweet, you know. So I would try and keep Gomez as much as possible.
100%, mate. Yeah. I think chat let us know, is Matip 30? But obviously, I think Matip, especially how the game's evolved, Van Dijk, especially, was seeming like Ramos, as much as Ramos was a complete knobhead. He was a very experienced centre half, and I think him, and you have to look at Thiago Silva as well. Especially the players, football players now, the longevity of their careers has just been bumped up by an extra couple of years, obviously with the nutrition side of the game and obviously rehabilitation.
Matip is almost 31, by the way. He's 31 in August.
Yeah, but it'll still be massive for the next 3-4 years. But 100%.
I thought he was older than that, to be honest with you. I thought he was older than that, to be honest with you. Yeah, 5 years will do. Yeah, thank you.
Champions League, 10 Pep's shiny head. No, as I said, he'll be pulling out his hair when he's got none. It'd be interesting if Pep actually does have hair. But I think I remember when he was managing a Barca, but I think managing City when you haven't got Messi, I think that does happen to you. I can't say nothing. My hairline's going way back. It's going all the way to Birkenhead, my hairline, but we'll mine has
been a McDonald's since I was about 15, I'd say.
Jamie Carragher reckons the tie is done already. He reckons that Liverpool have already killed Benfica off. Spot on there, Paul. I wouldn't say that personally, mate, because we know how we've been in this game too long, supporting Liverpool and obviously just watching football. It's dangerous territory, but you would say yes, but we still got to do the job second. Like, Anfield will be bloody raring to go. And obviously the amazing Reds fans that went to Porto last night, I know there was quite a lot of issues. I know the Liverpool Football Club does come out with the strongest action and condemning that, because I tell you, it was bloody bonkers. But I'm surprised by how Liverpool fans are treated away from home in Europe. But I've got quite a lot of mates that do go away in terms of away to European games to Liverpool, and they said it was absolute bloody carnage last night, especially from the police as well. But I want all the shiny trophies. Thought Naby was excellent. Yeah, he is our star man. Start of the week last night. Well, start of the night last night for me inspired the ball, and I think everyone agrees with that. Love that Toffee Tom's to bitch, Jack, but you need to get him on for the show today. Oh, yeah, that's a good shout there, Tom. Just see his meltdown, especially if it does go. But I can't be bothered, Tom, with his celebration of the Everton goal. But I'll try and get him on, Tom. Tom, if you're watching, I think he'll probably just switch off his camera and go to bed. If it goes the opposite way. Imagine Diaz is different in us winning the league. 100% Tony, I think all of us, if he asked us that, 100%. Spider, 100% agree about Ali's band, Grealish has been so ineffective since going over to City. Salah should keep that in mind when he looks in at his options 100%. I'm just going to get through all your comments as well before we do wrap up anyway. Keep on getting your comments in as well. We'll try and get through these as quick as possible. I'm still worried Diaz is like a Salah replacement, but wait till the summer. I wouldn't say Tony, but I understand where you're coming from. A new deal for Klopp, apparently, even if it was another year. Happy days, 100%. I think he wants to knock United off his pitch, and then that's his legacy, really. I think if he was the manager to knock United off their pitch again, it'd be tremendous. Canate and Van Dijk never played together, have they? I think they might have in the FA Cup games this season. Aston Villa sniffing all over Gomez. I understand, obviously, Gerrard. I don't think Gerrard can last another 6 months with Tyrone Mings. Centre half, he's fucking shit. But still, he does get a game for England, but don't start on English. Scouts on English, up the fucking nets. Gomez face Canate has been strong, 100%. Diaz, 100% Willow. Have you seen the Super League documentary on Sky? Is the one, mate? Oh, that'll be might as well put that in the Comedy Central, mate, because that's what it is. Any suggestions how to get sleep between now and Sunday? This match has my mind bloody buzzing.
Alcohol.
Yes, 100% is father. Would you and Jack Sparrow be happy with Gomez playing back when Trent needs to rest? Yeah, 100%, Tony. We've seen them do so well against Forest, one of the standout performers in that game, in the tricky game. And obviously, we've seen it against Watford as well. Tremendous performance by Gomez as well. But 100%, I think he is. We spoke about this at the top of the show, didn't we, Tony? Means Spider. He is the replacement for Nico. I think Gomez down that right hand side. It's great options. Because Nico will be going to Fulham at the end of the season. A rubber hammer. Matip is 30. He's 31 in August. Not too bad. Aging like a fine wine as well. Giraffe, 100%. he is our gangly giraffe. He's so unorthodox the way he runs, but you wouldn't change Matip for anything. I think Matip can go until he's at least 33, 34, pushing it 100% there. No sleep till 40 shiny things. After he spotted on there. Willow. Just replying to that as well. But Spider, before you cop off. Cop off? Yeah, that's a new word. Cop off.
Didn't buy me dinner first.
Anyway, I'll be buying everyone bloody dinner. But Spider going off the cap off. Obviously, that's what I was thinking of. Cap off tonight's game, mate. Really, what you want to see, as I mentioned before, what you want to channel the positives from last night's game going into, because it's going to be a massive couple of days in it, mate.
Yeah, I think, look, we had one against City. We were guilty of that. I know we always say we take game by game as it is. The first half, we kind of showed up. The second half, we took the foot off the gas. We were a bit lackluster. We didn't we didn't close down as much as we did. I think the lads took it upon themselves to just ease up in the game, and they allowed Benfica to have more of the ball, and they allowed them to attack because they thought they were comfortable enough to defend. And when you think of it, they were kind of right in the way, because it was a mistake that just led to a goal, and it wasn't just like a form of bad defending, let's say, or bad positioning or anything, because we did our job as well. It's a away win, 3-1. I think Carragher is kind of right, because we have to, 3-1 coming to league going to Anfield, 2-goal league going to Anfield. You could start a weekend team midweek next week with your Milner start. You could start. I don't know if Naby he might start at the weekend with the way he played last night. Klopp might say, all right, let's rest Hendo for the return leg, and you might see that, a Hendo, a Milner, and an Ox or something against Benfica next week. With Hendo sitting back, which is not his favourite position, but he could do that. And with that, right, I used to worry about the thing: who would you start this week? Who would you start that? Yeah, we want City we want the City game to have our best 11 out there, but it doesn't really matter who plays next week, because all of them are capable of doing the job. I think so. Whether it's Jota or Firmino, whether it's Diaz or Mane, there's nobody really to replace Salah on that right hand side. But whether it's Hendo or Keita, I don't care, because I just think all of them are going to give 100% if they can, and if they're fit and able to do so. Yeah, I just think, look, yeah, for me, it's just come on. I'm anxious now. I just want this City game in the league over, because I think we can take them in anywhere else. But you know, I would love to see us in Real Madrid in another final, because I think we own one. But you know, and you know, let Atletico and Real battle it out for the other semi-final. You know, because for me, the two best teams that could have been a great final is us against Bayern, but you're probably going to see that in a semi-final. You know, so, and you know, but so then after that, I don't care who we get, as long as we bypass Bayern. I think we can take on anybody then. So yeah.
100%, mate. Get in the Reds. Get to all your comments before we do shoot off. Where is it? Thoughts on Gary Neville, the fucking mancarat that he is. I don't mind him as a pundit, but he was an absolute swat for Man United, wasn't he? Pardon my French. Scouse. I'm commenting what Jurgen Klopp is. Just Gary Neville misquotes himself every single week. He said United were top 4 last week, and then on his podcast a couple of days after, he's like, "Oh, United won't get top 4." So he's like a kettle, hot and cold every single bloody hour of a job, really. Yeah. He's trying to say that Klopp's brilliance that is competing with other managers won't be challenging. You could say the same with Fergie, mate. Paisley, Shankly, Klopp, Ferguson, Clough as well. All these great managers, they're once in a lifetime, really. They're very rare. And I'm just got to appreciate them. As good as they are, obviously, it was bad to see, obviously, United winning those titles, but you've got to appreciate the manager in which they did have. And obviously, Man United used to have a famous Scouse manager, didn't they? That's Shankly. They give all that. They give it all out about not liking Scousers, but their top goal scorer for United was a Scouser and one of their best managers in their history for Manchester United. And I'm pretty sure United waited a very long time to win the league. So I think it was like a 50-odd year.
What I say about that, Jack, it took them 65 to 70 years to catch us, and it'll only take us 10 to take it back. You know, so that's the kind of way you gotta look at it.
Yeah, absolutely. Tremendous lad. Yeah, 100% there, mate. Kind of, fuck Gary Neville. Apologies. Would you take Simeone as manager? Don't like him, but no, Tony. I want him to go to Burnley, mate. That's where I want him to go in the Championship. Simeone, yes, it's effective football, but Christ, it was bad enough for 5 months watching Roy Hodgson pull his face every single week. No, I don't want Simeone near Liverpool Football Club. It's a 50-50 this game. We'll be lining up open. We are much can catch Manchester City off in the trap 100%. Big question, but we'll Klopp all day, Tom. Dare I ask, Spider? It's Klopp all day, isn't it?
Oh, Klopp in an instant.
Yeah,
an instant.
Klopp. Yeah, nice one for that, Tom. But I think that was a quickest question we've had on today's show. Nice one for that.
Cheers, Tom.
Absolute legends. Funders are saying that we don't know what Liverpool's best 11 is. Probably you want to have City are similar, but you can almost take theirs as well. Tony, we will have a combined debate show tomorrow, so stay tuned, everyone, to make sure you drop on that. I cannot wait for that. I can't wait for all the bloody City fans to come in and go, why have you not picked him? But both teams are phenomenal in all areas, and it's difficult to get all players in. Can't make me choose. What's your thoughts of having the 2 Manchester appointed? Oh, yeah. Well, I mentioned that before, mate, and we'll speak about that. Loads of shite. But all the people in the VAR room, Tierney will be having Man City top or Manchester United top on this weekend. But it's important that Liverpool in the closing stages now, everyone, absolute legends. Thank you to every single one of you that is tuned in. But Liverpool need to, and hopefully that's what we want. We want no regrets come the end of Sunday after 5 or 6 p.m. We don't want any regrets. We want Liverpool to go to the Etihad, and I implore you to go and watch the second leg in the Champions League, everyone. If Jurgen Klopp can encapsulate that game into Sunday's game, obviously I know Liverpool progressed in terms of bringing better quality in, but we want a similar performance to that sit behind the ball, counter attack as well. Don't we, Spider? Because obviously after this show, go and watch that Liverpool 2-1 game at the Etihad a couple of years in the Champions League. If we can get anywhere near that game, I think it'd be a great result. Agreed. So Salah can win the trophies. Don't get me wrong, but Klopp is the man I would miss. Salah, yeah, 100%. It's a naughty question, but I would pick Big Normat all day. He's so important. Big question there, Tom. And thank you to every single one of you. I want an elite manager, especially after Klopp. 100% there, Tony. You should make a Man City Liverpool of all time. That'd be Liverpool starting 11 all time, mate. Especially after the City only started their club was only founded about 10 years ago.
2011.
But thanks, Jack. Thanks, Spider, all you LFC legends on here as well. But Spider, just shout out your channel, mate, and obviously what content you've got coming up this week, mate.
Yeah, I'd say Spider LFC, and we also have the Kitman on YouTube. That's a new channel. That's more for Liverpool and all sports, and more panel shows where we're sitting at tables and stuff, and a lot of comedy sketches. But it's Spider LFC. You'll mainly find me everywhere. All right.
Yeah, thank you very much for coming on, mate. But most importantly as well, you absolute bloody legends. And every single all you LFC legends, or if there's any rival fans watching, you've been respectful, shout out to you as well, everyone. Obviously, one big family on the channel. Hopefully, we'll get Spider on very soon this weekend, and a lot more of the guests as well. Try and ask a couple of different people on as well. It'd be great to get good insight, but I know everyone's so, especially this week, everyone's going to be so chock-a-block with shows. But Spy, thank you for coming on, and everyone that has watched or be watching this on the repeat, really do appreciate you taking the time out on a fine Wednesday afternoon. Look after yourselves. We'll be live tonight as well for hopefully the meltdown of Everton Football Club. I'm joking, but we'll be watching the Real Madrid-Chelsea game, but we will have a tiny eye on the Everton game. I'll try and get Tom on. I know Tom in the chat did mention our good mate Tom. Yeah, he does take the banter well. But everyone, have a lovely rest of your afternoon, and we will be live around about 8 p.m. tonight as well for the live stream watch-alongs. Well, Spider, thank you for coming on, mate, and everyone, have a lovely rest of your day. Make sure have a good one, everyone. Walk along, great streams. Cheers, Tony. Already sub Spider. I get the notifications done as well. Up to Reds, most importantly. But what a tremendous ride we are going to be on in the next couple of days. But we have been on already this season. But Reds, hopefully see you tonight. Thank you to every single one of you. If you are watching this on the repeat, absolute bloody legends. And for everyone that has tuned in into today's afternoon live stream, appreciate it. Spider, speak to you soon, very, very soon, matey. And Reds, speak to you soon tonight as well. You never walk alone. Up the bloody Reds. Get in.